that young Magic team? What kind of stands out to you about
They are a group that plays extremely hard together. They're connected. Have a bunch of young, talented guys, and they have a big lineup. So they have some versatility within their lineups. But they seem very connected, been competitive in a lot of games, even if they haven't won them all. But they seem connected. They play hard for Coach Mosley, and they're a talented group.
What's your biggest point of focus for your team heading into tonight's game?
Just to play the right way, continue with the progress we've seen over the last few games. We played extremely hard, played together, whether shots fall or not. I think we've seen growth in the last two games, specifically the Washington and Chicago, even though we didn't come out with wins. And so continue with that progression. And like I said, we play hard, play with effort, share the ball, and continue to do what we've been preaching.
Marcus had some very honest comments after last game about the fourth quarter offense. How do you feel about him talking like that, especially considering how honest you have been publicly? And how do you feel like that has been dealt with within the team?
Well, the things that he said, some of the things he said are things we talk about every day. I preached that from day one with Jayson and Jaylen and guys growing in that area, being playmakers. So it's stuff we constantly are showing off film, talking about. So it's nothing new as far as what we have shown and done, and they've done a great job growing in those areas. So Marcus and Jaylen, Jayson have a history together, being together for a long time. And, every team I've ever been on or coached has had moments where they butt heads. And so it's nothing that we haven't talked about, no area that they haven't shown improvement and growth in. And so we'll leave it at that. I mean, it's something that's addressed and continually preached with those guys. And so, not trying to blow it out of proportion.
it seems like just compliment the Magic as they play hard. It seems like guys are saying, well, hey, we're taking steps to get up to the how do you get past that and know that your guys are going to get 48 minutes after you start? I know that's probably a state you didn't expect to happen to come this early, but how do you get past that? Every game,
Yeah, just talk to them about how important every possession is. We played a good first quarter against Chicago, other than the initial 4 minutes where they got some threes off due to a lack of coverage, but bounced back and played well. And so we talked about the start of the game not being up to our standard, and then the end of the game obviously got away from us. So we haven't put a full one together. The ones we have, it might be an off shooting night, but overall, like I said, I think we've grown in that area. And other than the initial Toronto game where I kind of talked about it, I haven't seen a problem with our guys. And so just being consistent and doing the little things more than your opponent does.
You get two dominant scores. How are they able getting others involved, making the rest of the team together, and still carrying the load?
They are adequately equipped for that. I mean, they've proven they can score in the league. And as I've just mentioned earlier, it's something that an area I've stressed with those guys for growth. They draw a ton of attention. It's a next progression in their game. And so, it's a matter of guys making shots. Chicago blitzed them quite a bit, and they got off the ball, and some guys didn't make shots. And so they're doing what we're asking them to do. They understand the attention that they're going to draw, and being two elite scorers, teams are going to try to stop them. So make the right play and live with the result.
Ime, Brad mentioned yesterday, just when you look at the 2-5 record, obviously that's not great, but when you look at the actual play, it's not necessarily reflective of that. Is that kind of what you see as well?
Yeah, if you look at the big picture approach, I think losing 2 double overtime games where Jayson had a game-winning shot opening night against New York, and then Jaylen had a chance to win it against Washington, and then you look at last game where we were up 19. You look at the record, it's one thing, but you look at the results and the growth that we've shown in the last few games, and you can, like I said with the guys, it's a big picture approach. We're playing the right way, haven't closed out a few for whatever reason, and as long as we're heading in the right direction and continue to go toward our goals, I think that's a big picture. It could easily be 4-3, 5-2, and then probably wouldn't be any questions about it. But the fact that we haven't finished, you're going to get these questions, and 2-5 is not up to our standard or where our guys would like to be, honestly.
Defensively, look at a guy like Cole Anthony who's with Orlando. He's had a hot streak the last couple of games. What do you see from him, and what do you guys need to do maybe to limit him?
Yeah, confident young player. We looked at the numbers and their wins. Their 2 wins, he's at like 30 points, 12.5 rebounds, 8 assists. So we understand the impact he has on their winning and losing. But those guys have ultimate confidence that they can go out there and make plays, and it's not just him, but Wagner and some of the other young guys. have the green light and they're being very aggressive. So it's what you expect of a young, talented guy. And when they do win, it's a large part because of him.
Considering the record, all right, thank you, Gary. How important could this trip be? And could this be something kind of a jumping off point for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, none of us are happy with, the record wise where we started. We got a competitive group and a group that's been together for a while, some new additions and obviously new coaching staff. But, the standard is the standard. And the fact that we have played well enough to win a lot of games, like some of the instances I just mentioned, we could easily be the other way. So now it's taking that step and finishing. We played Orlando twice in the preseason, so we know them well. Just another opportunity to get out and play a whole 48 minutes and try to finish with the right result this time. But going on the road 3 and 4 nights, we know there's a task there, but our guys are up to it. They're feeling well. For the most part, guys have bounced back from the heavy minutes early and a chance to get on the right foot.
Good evening, Coach. A couple Zoom questions. First one is from Keith Smith.
Hey, Coach, when you have all your guys available, it's hard to get guys into the game. How do you approach those conversations with some of the guys who just aren't part of the rotation right now?
Just stay ready. They work extremely hard in the practice time and getting their individual work in. Like you said, it's hard to play 11, 12 quality guys, and they've shown that they can play when guys have been out. So it's tough, and I understand that. Being an ex-player myself and going through certain situations, I understand that part. But I preach to them that opportunities are always going to come. Guys are going to be in and out at times, and you've done what you can do in your time. And so we're confident in those guys that aren't getting the same minutes right now, but other guys are playing well, and they have in training camp in the first few games. So you have to understand that, be professional, still take care of yourself and what you need to get off the court. And they've all done that, play extremely hard and got a good 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 session in yesterday. So they're continuing to stay sharp and be ready.
Art Murphy.
Hi, Ime. I know Marcus spoke out of frustration the other night, but is there a difference in how he sees what he's supposed to be doing and the way you guys wanted him to play this year?
I don't know about a difference. It's the understanding of who you're playing with. He's a point guard to start the game, but at times he's going to be in with 3 guys that handle the ball as well. So obviously Jayson and Jaylen are elite scorers, and we want them to be playmakers. And like I said, the attention that they attract should get guys other shots. So sometimes he has to play off the ball and sometimes on the ball. You add Dennis to the equation, another guy who's really good at getting downhill and making plays for other guys. It's not always going to be in your hands. So, it's just an understanding of who we have out there. We have a lot of guys that can make plays, a lot of guys that can score. And I think that's the beauty of the team in general, that a lot of those guys can do that and contribute and do other things on the court, and not just, come off pin down screens or post up, but they all can make plays. And so sometimes it's going to be in his hands, sometimes it won't. And guys have to be ready to play on and off the ball.
Final Zoom question is from Bobby Manning.
Hey, you may just to that point still with Marcus and some of the, things he talked about yesterday, the defensive end, he sort of mentioned, the pressure that's being put on the Jays kind of taken away from maybe what they're doing on the defensive end toward the end of games. How do you kind of think about the pressure you put on guys like that offensively and weigh that against what they're able to give on the defensive end of the court in that regard?
Well, we're asking a lot of them. Obviously, they are guarding most of the best 2s and 3s and sometimes 4s every night, and that's something that they are well equipped for. They can't. We're preaching defense and talking about team defense and continuing to work on the things that we've had weaknesses in, as far as our rotations and stuff behind us. So it is what it is. Guys have to play both ends of the court. We got great defenders, Marcus, Josh, and other guys like that, but Jaylen and Jayson are guys that have always taken on the challenge. Played against them in previous years, and they've been great defenders. So that's no different now. It's just, they got that burden and that load to do it on both sides of the floor. And so nothing that they can't do and have shown that they haven't done in the past.
We'll wrap it up right there. Thank you, Coach.